I'm similar to the Thriller in Manila. Honeys call me bigger, the condom filler. Whether it's stiff tongue or stiff dick, Biggie squeeze it to make shit fit. Now check this shit, I got the pack of Rough Riders in the back of the Pathfinder. You know the epilogue by James Todd Smith. I get swift with the lyrical gift. Hit you with the dick, make your kidney shift. Here we go, but I'm not domino. I got the funk flow to make your drawers drop slow. So recognize the dick size in these Carcanine jeans. I wear 13s, know what I mean? I fuck around and hit you with the Hennessy dick. Mess around and go blind, don't get to see shit. The next batter, here to shatter your blatter, it doesn't matter. Skinny or fat or light skinned or black, baby, I drop these. Beneath with my me, screaming, I poppy. I love it when they call me Big Pop, but I only smoke blunts if they roll prop. But look, I got ya caught up with the drunk flow. Fuck taekwondo, I told a fofo. For niggas getting mad cause they bitch chose me. A big black motherfucker with G. You see, all I do is separate the game from the truth. Big bang boots from the Bronx to Bolivia. Getting physical like Olivia Newt. Tricks up my click dick all day with no trivia. So give me a bankroll and a bag of weed. I'm guaranteed to fuck her till her nose bleed. Even if the new man's a certified Mac, you get that H-Town in ya. You want that old thing back?
Like B-I-double-T-I-E with some new R-U-L-E. Notorious, known for busting in your E-Y-E. Baby, baby, bitches know they love to hate me. How come you come, we're coming back to maybe. How close we came to coming together is crazy. How come you and your sis make similar faces? When y'all coming, y'all be crying like I'm killing y'all bitches. I know there's a bigger picture than the camera rolling. Cause I don't think y'all be knowing how this shit's unfolding. Back shots to the rear, got the Mac unloading. Gotta reload like every so often. Saying I got my swagger back. I'm looking like bitch, my swagger never left. Don't be so hard pressed to be impressed by these new rappers. They actors and the fact is, you want that old thing back.
Like Scarface and Bushwick, Willie D, having nightmares of girls killing me. She mad because what we had didn't last. I'm glad because her cousin let me hit the ass. Fuck the past, let's dwell on the 500 SL, the E and J and ginger ale. The way my pockets swell to the rim with Benjamins. Another hundred's in the crib, please send her in. I fuck non-stop, lick my lips a lot. Used to lick the clips a lot, but licking clips had to stop. Cause y'all don't know how to act when the tongue go down below. Peep the funk flow, really though. I got the cleanest, meanest penis. You never seen this, stroke of genius. So take off your Tim boots and your bodysuit. I mean the spandex and hit my man next. Sex get rougher when they come to the nut buster. Pussy crusher, black nasty motherfucker. I don't chase them, I replace them. And if I'm caressing them, I'm undressing them. Fuck what you heard, who's the best in New York? Fulfilling fantasies without that nigga Mr. Raw. Or tattoo, I got you wrapped around my dick. And when I'm done, I got the split shit.
Try so hard, will always be a victim of these streets. It ain't my fault, cause I try to get away, but trouble follows me, and still I try so hard. Hoping one day
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Nice to see a little bit of a crowd here. Not a ton of people, and I don't blame you. There's been absolutely nothing happening in the market. We're almost 70 days, and actually, I think it's actually been 70 days on the dot. So let's just take a quick look. I mean, it depends really how far you want to go back. Honestly, this whole range, nothing's happened. I mean, 74 days. It's pretty insane. Got a couple little moves in here, but nothing major. I'm going to talk about it all today, guys. I do think there is a potential move. I tweeted about it earlier. So if you follow all the posts, you're a little bit ahead of the game, but we'll get to that in a minute. So S&P 500, and just so that you guys all know, if anyone's new here, we always go over the S&P 500 weekly first on Mondays. So not a lot really unchanged here. I would not be surprised if we got a little bit of a pullback here. I actually deleted this last time. Formed more of like, I don't want to say like an ascending wedge, but more of a wedge to go upwards. Why do I think this? Because history, because I don't want to say like intuition, experience. It just usually happens. You get like an area of resistance. You get like a breakout, right? That doesn't actually end up being a breakout. It shoots back into the range, and then the real breakout happens. I'm still very bullish on the S&P for the next couple years. I think it'll be solid. I think 2028, 2029 will probably have our like larger economic recession type situation happen. I think, and look, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but just looking at the history of the S&P, and when we've had large pullbacks, when we have had big areas of sideways movement here, I think we're getting close to overdue. We had a large 25-year period of up, 10-year period of sideways, now another 25-ish period up. What's weird is, or I guess not very weird, the market follows a cycle similar to Bitcoin. There is a post somewhere, not even post, you can look it up. There's like a farmer's almanac for the S&P 500. It's been very, very accurate. And not to mention, guys, we're overdue for something like a very sideways, very kind of shitty period for 10 years. And look, during that 10 years, you accumulate, you come out on top. Right. Obviously, it's an idea. We'd like to see it go up only forever. But if you take advantage of buying these very large kind of dumps, 50%, and it's tough. Like if you have a 401k, it's tough to time those. But if you see the market down 60%, it is buy time. So look, I'm still bullish. I don't have a lot of TA to discuss on the S&P. I think things are fine in the market. I think overall things are relatively good. I do think wages are starting to catch up with everything else. I mean, that's what the data says. Who knows if that's actually true, but we have to go with what we have right now. I know a lot of different people from all walks of life, and I don't really think anyone's like necessarily struggling, so to speak. I think buying a home sucks. I think, like moving to that next forward stage where you buy a home, have a family, I think that's tough, but everything else seems fine so far. And that'll eventually force the housing market to go down. I mean, if there is low demand and high supply, prices have to go down. So not much more on the S&P. I did want to talk about SpaceX. Going to open up the daily here since there aren't that many weeks. We're pretty much just following what I've been saying, guys. Initially SpaceX opened. I said, do not buy this, right? And why don't you buy? Like you can look at this and say, oh yeah, I could have made a great gain, but if you're a long-term holder, like most investors are, you are still at a loss, right? Still losing, still a loss. Doesn't matter. So why are we kind of stagnant here? Well, it's acting as kind of a resistance area, right? We're the price that we opened, pumped, kind of bounced off of, lost, now acting as resistance. If you think about it, breakdown, retest, should continue lower. Again, my ideal buying target is around $100. Could go lower. Not necessarily target. Like I would start buying around 100. Guys, this could go all the way down to like $25, and I'd still be a buyer at 100. Why? Because I have no idea what the bottom price is. I'm not willing to risk it, especially when SpaceX should be like the next large company that does something. I mean, they're already doing great things, right? Um, they already have the space elevator, which is the only space elevator in the world to get stuff to the International Space Station, to do stuff to satellites. I mean, what happens when we start looking into space and start colonizing, which very well could happen over the next 15 to 25 years. So I think in the long run, this will be great. If you're a long run 20, 30 years, I don't think it matters if you buy 145 or 100. I mean, it'll matter a little bit because you'll actually get 2 times the return at 100 versus 145. But again, I have my price target. If it gets there, great. If it doesn't, is what it is. The market's been boring, dude. It's not done anything for almost 75 days. It's been pretty awful. Like the only market that's done anything is the S&P, and then like obviously like stocks in general. Like Nasdaq's obviously been moving it quite nicely. But yeah, Bitcoin just hasn't done shit. And neither have really of alts. Like alts have just been doing absolutely nothing. A lot of them still making lower highs, a lot of them still fading, which sucks. I did want to look at the dollar. Just a refresher from last week. We had said that there was a potential inverted head and shoulders here. This was our breakout point. We failed it. We're back down. This pattern is no longer valid. Why does that matter? Well, it's actually a very good thing. This technically means stocks in Bitcoin should perform better. It doesn't mean they're going to do a 10x or 5x or 2x, but it does give more validity to an upcoming Bitcoin bull market. If the dollar is losing value, right? If Bitcoin trades against the dollar and the dollar is losing value, Bitcoin inherently is going to go up. Even if it means it's, and I know this might be hard for some of you to understand, but let's say everything is 1-to-1, right? If the dollar goes down, stocks and Bitcoin will go up if it's 1-to-1, right? Obviously it's a lot more complicated than that, but this is another factor in saying that, hey, things should do well as long as the dollar continues to remain down. Now, if this broke up, obviously it'd be bad. If things were 1-to-1 and the S&P went down to the dollar's 1, obviously you'd be losing value, right? You guys know simple fractions. If this is the S&P is on top, dollar's on bottom. If the S&P goes to 0.9 and if the dollar goes up to 1.1, right? What is this, like 99? This would be 1 or 0.99, whatever this value is. It's like 0.9 something. Obviously, you're losing value. That's what I'm talking about. And vice versa. If the dollar goes down and the S&P or Bitcoin remain the same value, eventually they will go up, right? In accordance to trading back to dollars. That's how currency swaps work. Let's look at tether dominance just really quick. Just another refresher that we are looking at a lot of macro reversal signs. Guys, I know a lot of you guys have seen and heard about me talk about this like for the last 3 or 4 months. And look, this is just to give you a refresher. We have obviously higher highs here, lower highs in RSI. We've got volume going down. We've got lower highs in MACD. We've got momentum divergence. These are all signs for a macro reversal. And if tether dominance goes down, Bitcoin should do better, right? Similar to how the dollar works. These are inversely correlated. So looking for maybe one more high, maybe a secondary high or an equal high. Obviously, nothing's perfect in this market. We could just start it now, right? That's always a possibility too. But possibly looking for another high here. For some reason, this market loves to act or work in pairs of 3, just like most things in nature. So we are looking for that kind of last high. But ultimately, guys, these are macro reversal signs, and they pair with Bitcoins. And you guys know me. I've made tons of posts about this. There's really nothing to hide here, right? We're on week 46 of potentially 52 to 56 weeks of bear market before we quote unquote find our bottom. Obviously, RSI is following trend. Obviously, MACD is following trend. So lots and lots of macro indications. And these aren't the only ones. This is just the monthly, right? Lots and lots and lots of indications that are saying, hey, the Bitcoin bear market is coming to an end. You're running out of time to buy low. I think, and I said this to Matthew Hyland earlier this morning, I think a lot of people are fixated on a price and not the indications. Like they'll be like, oh my God, I really want to buy like Bitcoin in the 55K area. And that's great. So would I. But you have a ridiculous amount of reversal signals and you need to start taking advantage of them. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. And that's how it works, right? Everyone's been talking about 40s and low 50s. And even I am. Look, I'm still on the page that we could possibly put in another low. However, I've been buying. Why have I been buying if I think that we're going low? Because there's too many reversal signs to ignore. And just because I think something doesn't mean the market will do it. I'd rather take advantage of the low prices we have. If we go lower, then certainly we'll buy lower and heavier, right? But if we don't get that, then it is what it is. That's why, or that's really the beauty of a dollar cost average strategy, because you're not just full porting at one price. You get to absorb all over the place. That's why in 2022 to 2023, this was the area I was buying in. This whole entire area. And my average came out about 19 to 18K, which was perfect. Perfect average. I started buying like 17.8, 17.9, 18K, somewhere around there. On this drop, on this weekly close, I started buying about once a week, every single week. You know, bought some low, bought some high, bought heavier in the 15s, bought heavier in the 16 and 17s. So I brought my average down, right? But like 18.5, I believe, was my average. I don't exactly remember, but looking to do the same thing here. I started buying on the week of June 6th. Why? We started seeing reversal signs on the weekly. We started seeing those kind of bullish divergences, and I'm not going to try and draw them too heavily because I want to talk more about the 1-day chart today. But you have these divergences here between the two lows. You have obviously our monthly indications. You have RSI, or excuse me, MACD and momentum divergences as well. So look, it's all there. It's all there to make a major change. And obviously, it's going from downtrend to macro uptrend. It just depends when Bitcoin wants to do it. But for today, and really for the last like 5-10 minutes, unless you guys have questions, and please put them now so I can answer them. I wanted to look at the Bitcoin daily. I am on the page that our inverted head and shoulders has somewhat failed. Why? I mean, I guess this could act as a shoulder. It just looks kind of weird, but I'd give more validity to this now double bottom, right? We have RSI divergences. We have, I believe we have some MACD divergences as well, which again, MACD and RSI are going to show the exact same thing, but momentum is going to show some divergences. Volume is still really low. If we break 65K, I'd like to see volume start to come up with that. But really the key point in breaking, or really suggesting that we're going to start possibly a new uptrend, is breaking the 67K area. It's acted as resistance several times. And breaking it with volume. We need to see volume continue to rise going into 67K. But this looks promising right now. This looks really clean. Again, double bottoms are the best. Like, let's say you have a bunch of candles going down like this. When you have one solid candle like this, breaking that midpoint, that is a very strong side that double bottom will play out. If it's all like a bunch of lines like this, very, very unlikely that it's going to play out in the way that you'd hope. But would really like to see this play out. Would really, really enjoy some movement. To Dorian's point and to my point earlier in the live stream, we have done nothing for 75, really almost 80 days, depending on how you look at this. If we're talking 65K or 67K resistance, I mean, we haven't done anything in 76 days. Pretty wild. Just take a look at the hourly. I mean, this is good, right? This is good. We're starting to stair step up in volume. So that's making this look promising. But again, we need the daily to really step in, bring that volume in. Like, this candle's far too low. If we broke 65K with this volume, I'd say probably not going to happen. Like, we need to see a big candle of volume. And to that point, volume's been dropping through this whole range. Again, which makes sense. We've been ranging. Not a lot's been happening. It's been extremely boring. So again, that's part of the reason why the live streams have been so short. I don't want to waste your guys' time just talking about the same thing. But I want to reiterate that, look, we're looking at macro reversal. You need to have your mind on that, because when this thing does take off, you're going to get left behind if you don't have a game plan, right? Just like here and really this whole kind of range here. This was really boring. I know the FTX crash obviously brought some emotions into the market, but then for another 40 days, we basically did absolutely nothing. Let's take a look. For 63 days, we basically did nothing, right? And then boom, take off, right? You're looking at something very similar now, although it's been close to 75 days, which, guys, look, the market is going to do what the market's going to do. There's nothing that you can make or break that. 75, I accidentally went one candle over, but 75 days of absolute nothing. Something is going to happen soon. Volatility's building. Let's take a look at Bollinger Bands really quick. I mean, look at this. Extremely tight Bollinger Bands. And for those of you that don't know how Bollinger Bands work, these are like an indication of volatility. When they're very tight, right? When price is very tight, think of like a bouncy ball bouncing really, really fast. Eventually it's going to shoot up or shoot down. It's going to break those bands and go up or down. When it's really wide, right? Price is going to go really slow between them until they come back and get tight, go tight, and then break out or break down one way or the other. So really like seeing Bollinger Bands being tight. That's at least giving us or building volatility. That's what we need to see to really break either support or resistance. You want volatility to break. If you just have like two really wide Bollinger Bands, usually you're not going to break resistance or break through support on that first attempt. All right, guys, I didn't get any questions. I know today was quick. Just wanted to give you guys an overall market update, talk about the one day. Other than that, I really don't have a lot to cover. So hopefully we get some movement. Again, I tweet every day and I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Last week streamed a little less, guys. I won't lie. There was really nothing happening. So it was really hard to talk about new stuff, but I'll be here at least once or twice a week. With all that said, guys, always remember, be patient,